Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Facebook Live. Today is the 22nd of October, year 2025. Let me welcome the panel. We have Lakshmi here, who is part of our core group of meditators, as well as she leads sessions on our workshops on mantra chanting. She has a meditation group that she hosts on Tuesdays, as well as a talk she hosts once a month. So if anybody's interested, please contact Lakshmi. And then we have Patricia here, who also is part of a core group of meditators. Good evening, Patricia. And then we have Francesca here, who has been joining our meditation and Facebook Live. Good to have you, Francesca. So today I actually wanted to, because for the past few Facebook Live, I don't know if y'all remember, the content of our Facebook Live has been about Patricia. It may have happened almost a month or a month and a half, 2 months ago. She described a scenario where she was driving and the road to whatever exit or turn she's supposed to take for work was closed, and she had to take another road, and that sent her into panic, into fear, right? And I was explaining to her that I have agoraphobia, which is a fear of heights, right? I could not even sit in an airplane. It was very hard for me when the airplane would take off. I had to have Dramamine and all that. And I was explaining to her that we have to get over the fear. And then I found this video by Dr. John Demartini. And Dr. John Demartini, supposedly, I don't know how many people have watched the movie The Secret. Have you all watched or heard of the movie The Secret? He was featured in the movie The Secret, right? And he talks about law of attraction and all that. So Patricia, you want to explain a little bit, or you want me to? So what I found interesting, and Lakshmi, I'll go to you first. He said there is always polarity. You know, we may think that life is like it has to be hunky-dory, this utopia kind of thing, right? Like that life needs to flow, like everything should be smooth. Just like Patricia on that day was expecting that the turn that she was going to take was going to be the turn. Like we are infatuated with everything being exactly smooth, right? And I love the fact that he said is the moment, and it is a very present moment centered observation, that the moment we observe fear, the fear is the only signal the fear is showing us is that the other polarity exists. And the other polarity is that it won't be smooth, that you expect a turn, that you can turn right on this certain intersection, but you won't be able to turn right. So all the fear is there for us is to signal that things, and he explains it in different ways. He calls it philia, and a phobia. Philia is having this fantasy or infatuation, and phobia is having the fear, right? But I loved his pointer that the fear is only there as a signal to tell you that life is polarity. It's always it's a magnet. There's a positive and a negative, and don't fall in love with the positive. Something negative is going to arise. For that matter, in A New Earth, I think Eckhart even says the positive already contains the unmanifested negative, right? Even Eckhart is giving that pointer, but Eckhart did not go into the explanation. So I want you to go into what your take on the video and the conversation is. And I'll find the link and I'll post it on the channel.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
So I have to listen to it again, frankly speaking, Poonam. I understood that we need to integrate the fear, the phobias and philias. And if we are constantly wanting to be positive, 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 and we are pushing away all of that fears, they will come back to us. You need to address them at some point or the other. So that is what I understood. So again, like I said, I need to revisit and make points. I was not fully attentive when I was listening to it. So that let others speak and then I will take up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Grateful for the input,
Thank you.
Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Patricia, go ahead. I know you've listened to the video a few times, so if you want to recap it, thank you.
I love how he started, thank you. I love how he started drawing the magnet. And he said, this is a magnet, right? It has minus and plus, positive and negative. And if you cut magnet in half, you're still gonna have two magnets, but each one has positive and negative. So, and you can't have a positive without negative. And this is how the integration happens. So I love, because in my case, I felt that all my childhood and young adulthood, I had so much negativity, and I constantly was trying to avoid it and push it away and just be living fear. Then I needed that to level this, the positive. I knew that I started to live in fantasies, like, you know, life being wonderful and just completely avoiding fear. But then the fantasies themselves cannot just be positive. Like, you cannot live in that fantasy. The fear is an important element because it brings you to reality, that life here on earth has always both sides. And it's okay, because you can't argue with it. Like Byron Katie says, if you argue with reality, you only lose 100% of the time. The same Eckhart saying. So yeah, I like how he described the philias, like you mentioned, and phobias, and yeah, specifically talked most of appreciating the fear, because if you are living in that infatuation and fantasy, it's good to have reality check, because you want to have the higher emotions like gratitude, like love, unconditional love, and wholeness and oneness. But if you only going after one side of the magnet, the other side will get you. But that also surprisingly works the other way. If you only are aware or try to avoid the negative, you will you realize that there are also positive sides of everything. Like if fear, I'm so afraid I'm gonna get lost, but it puts me in that situation. Now I will realize that there are good sides of it. I'm gonna find out people, you know, are helpful. The universe will bring someone that will help me. I'm gonna start opening to learning new ways, and it's gonna be better for me. I mean, it's realizing that sometimes that fear puts you in a position for you to learn, and that's the learning from it. And it's like one situation at a time until you realize that you're just not gonna go flying from super negative or positive. You're gonna stay centered. And whatever comes, it's like wonderful. Something bad comes, wonderful. Like it's part of life, and you're not gonna lose your energy. Because I think that that's what is about. You losing the light force if you're going after one or the other duality without staying. I think he said neutrality, what the word that he used, neutrality, but objectivity, you stay objective, meaning whole and complete, realizing that happens on the outside, but not being blinded, but one or the other possibility only. So he actually, I think he gives that example of like seeing a beautiful lady, or the guy is out there and being completely fantasizing about this pretty girl or something, and then being completely afraid of losing her, but realizing that, well, if she's so pretty, maybe other men will like her, or she's gonna leave. Like, you have that starting philosophy, like, it's not just being pretty, has its bad sides to it. It's not just one way. That pretty person can have a very not pretty behaviors because of the fact that she's so pretty. How many times you meet people that are very humble because they're like might be physically not that fit or something, but they're so amazing, like as a friend, or because they don't have this super ego, best looking and blah blah blah, and that kind of their ego is filled with that image, with that label, but there can be very nasty, so it's like always duality, no matter what. That's better to be.
So has it helped you in overcoming your fears? Are you less panic stricken?
Yes, it did. I still listen to it, but what happened was, it was very interesting, because shortly after, I'm driving my highway, whatever, and there is a sign that the exit that I'm supposed to get off is blocked. And I'm witnessing, it's like, oh, my brain right away went, okay, so you can just keep going to the next exit and go there, and you have GPS on, blah, blah. And I was right away, but I was calm. Like, I was calm. That happens, right? By the time I got to my exit, it was cleared up and open. I didn't even have to go. It was, in the meantime, if I was panic, I would just try to get off earlier, like completely just kept going, trusting that whatever will happen, I'll find a way.
Awesome.
It was fascinating.
Grateful. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Poonam, so much for sharing the video. Because yeah, he said a lot of interesting things. I actually watched a couple of other videos that were like happened after. So that's value. I actually did this value determination questions that he had 13, just to find out what is something that I just do all the time and naturally, and nobody has to motivate me. So I found out a few things about myself, which was interesting. So I recommend doing it. Never know. Know thyself, right? Know thyself.
It's the revolution of know thyself. So Lakshmi, anything else come up for you?
No, Poonam. Yeah, it's something like Francisca said. With every teacher you resonate with some teachers and you don't resonate with others. Even as I was listening to him, I was thinking the same thing, that I don't resonate. So if I actually ended up on YouTube and if I played, I wouldn't be finishing it off because I didn't resonate with him. So yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But what about the dualities? What do you think about dualities of life and not being pulled
it's
into
not the
some-
question of resonate. Yeah, exactly what Patricia is saying. It's not the question of resonate. It's, do you find the truth in the fact
Yeah,
that
no, I do find the truth, but his language and how the speed at which he went made it difficult for me to process the information. So I needed to listen to it once more to process the information. Unlike Eckhart, who speaks slowly, he was a little fast for me, but yes, I do understand with whatever, like he was saying that if you take a magnet and if you cut up, there will always be a north and south. There will always be a positive and negative. So life is like that. You cannot never have only positives all the time and only negatives all the time. So you need to have that balance between the positive and negative. And yes, everything, whatever, Patricia was telling that behind that liking, there is something that phobia, and behind is that what he said? But that was little confusing for me. um, if you like something, behind every philia there is phobia, and behind phobia there is philia. Is that what he said?
correct, correct,
Yeah, yeah,
Like
correct.
you're
If
afraid
he
of losing something.
like if he said this is such a handsome man, and
yeah,
all we are seeing is the handsome good looks and how beautiful they are and
yeah,
how attracted we are to them,
yeah,
then we are not seeing, maybe they have a pain body,
yeah,
maybe
we're
they
not
have
seeing anything. Yeah,
we are not seeing then the other thing about it is, he also said is we either resent somebody,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
or when we resent somebody, then we are feeling better, like we are putting them below us, right? We
Yeah,
are
yeah,
working
yeah,
out of pride,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah.
So even that is not the right way to look at things
We
when we are feeling resentful about
are
somebody.
not looking at the person. We are only focusing on the negative aspect. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And then the reverse too, when we are infatuated with somebody, then we
yeah.
are not looking at the negative side of
True.
them,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
that what that does, he talks about a value system. So when we are resenting somebody, we are trying to, what I loved about it is he says when we are resenting somebody, right? Like if he say my son or my daughter needs to exactly be like me, they need to be resenting the fact that, oh, this person procrastinates, or my daughter, I don't even have a daughter, so this is very hypothetical, okay?
Mhm,
My
mhm.
daughter procrastinates, she doesn't want to go get a job, she doesn't want to go be an engineer, she doesn't have any ambition in life. The more we resent her, right,
Mhm,
we are
mhm.
trying to make her the same as our values,
Correct.
right?
It's
Because we are
unrealistic.
valuing,
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not.
and and so this thing about, and then if we are putting everybody somebody on a pedestal, like if you say that this is a handsome man,
Mhm,
right, then
mhm.
we are thinking we are lesser in value, our value system is lesser, and we are then we try to match ourselves to be their value system, that we are
Mhm.
missing something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when we are doing that, even that is incorrect, because then we are not objectively like looking at things with neutrality. He even used the word ambition, and he said ambi means
Yep.
uh,
Duality. Both. Ambi is both. Yeah,
both,
yeah,
and ambition means like to act out of both sides,
yeah,
right, equally. And
yeah.
we are not doing that. Like when we are, I love that fact that part, right? That we are either putting somebody down or we are putting somebody up.
On a pedestal. Yeah,
right? And even that is incorrect. And then when we are putting somebody up, then the loss of, he also uses this terminology of prey and predator, like because our amygdala, and this is something that Francesca is going to talk about because she's talked about the amygdala. He says our amygdala responds to either it is a prey or it's a predator. Those are the fear responses, right? So the prey is the good-looking man. Oh, this is such a good-looking man. That's prey. The predator.
Something we want, something we
once
want.
something we want, and so that prey. The moment we want the good-looking man, along with the wanting the good-looking man, is the fear of loss of the good-looking man. That loss is created. That's the polarity that he's talking about. And the same thing, like if the predator, which is we're putting down the daughter who's not matching our expectations, right? Like our value system of they're not as detail oriented. Some people complain their children are messy, right? They have a messy house or keep their rooms messy. So we are trying, when we resent somebody, we're putting them down. We are the predator then. And then again, there is a loss. The gain of the prey as a predator, the gain of the prey is that we are going to get them into our value system. Immediately, there's also the, like our intuition is telling us that there's a loss, that this person, we lose this person as well. Like the fear is caused, what I understood was the fear is just this very ancient, like maybe when we were hunters and gatherers, like this prey predator equation
is inbuilt.
Right? It's inbuilt in us. And if we recognize, if we use our neocortex, which is what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, right? Use your neocortex to, like, if you want to get into that nobody, nothing, nowhere, no time, use your neocortex to quieten your analytical mind and get into the void, right? So both are saying the same thing, that our neocortex is built to overcome all of this. So the more we objectively recognize that, hey, this is what we are doing, that we are living, we are not recognizing the polarity, right? I love that fact that just like Eckhart says, in the positive already contains the unmanifested negative.
Correct.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else, Lakshmi?
Thank you for clearing it up. Yeah. No, that is it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you like the fact that he expressed fear? And I love the fact that he expressed fear in that manner to let people know
very
that.
Interesting. Yeah.
To appreciate it, if it shows up, it means that you were unbalanced. So like, listen to it, listen to that fear. Why is showing up? Because it wants to bring you back into that neutral, into objectivity or neutrality, to actually, for you to have that higher emotions and not be acting out of your lower centers, out of that monkey mind or the animal brain, that part that I forgot about it. You're right. I love that part when he said that we need the prey. We need to eat so we can live, but we also have to run or avoid or be scared of predator because we can become food. Yeah. But then he also said that in our lives, we need both. We need the challenge, but we need the time when we rest and, but we also need the challenge to grow. So you can't just avoid challenges and only want the good times, or you only have the challenges which completely run you. You have no more repair time or whatever, and you get sick and stuff. So you need both times for growth and for just life. That's what life is. You will never just have one. So you're gonna drive yourself crazy if you think it's only one or the other.
I feel like for anybody, and then he said even depression is a person that is infatuated with a fantasy, and so they are feeling the pain, right? The loss of the fantasy.
Yeah.
Which was a beautiful way of saying why so many people are depressed, right? That all that this person is saying in his mind, his or her mind, is that they're living a fantasy in their mind. They're not seeing reality for what it is. They're not coming to the neutrality of, oh, there's going to be positive, negative, and that's how life is. It's okay that there is negative too, with the positive. They have their own mental image of what life should be, and they're living in that mental image, and that expectation is causing them pain. So I love that too. It's an escape. Thank you, Wyatt. Yeah, Wyatt is saying thank you for joining us, Wyatt. Yeah, he's saying it's an escape. Francesca, with that, I'll let you speak about this. And I know you've done a lot of research on your nervous system. So here we go. Thank you.
Hi,
Hello.
everybody. So I personally didn't watch the video, and I thought about maybe I'll go back and watch it because I was curious, but I probably won't, mainly because I personally don't resonate with Dr. Demartini's for my own reasons. But just hearing the topic, around fear, around discernment is what's coming up, because so the dualistic mind view, I'm going to share my own understanding of what I've come in to have and work deeply. My God, knee shaking deeply with these depths, piercing, learning how to unpiercing my, amygdala, which is the survival mind, experiencing the wholesome states where there is no dualistic mind view, because we after a while on the path, as we practice, bringing forth that divine, as we start to become clear, we start to dissolve those pain bodies, or they become dormant. Whatever happens to them is we learn how to discern. It's part of self-mastery. And when we have that ability to discern, we no longer actually fall into the trap of the dualistic mind view, because the dualistic mind views emanates or comes from what I refer to as splits in consciousness. So, it's like a split, right? Good, bad. It means you have to choose a side. Like, let's use what's happening around the world. War. We have enemies. So when we're trapped in these split personalities or these dualistic mind views, what ends up happening is we become lost in the weeds, which is why since beginning of time, we are in this mess today where we're at. Because of that, we've gone deeper and deeper into that black hole of because what happens, so if we were to fall, let's say, trapped right into one of our dualistic mind view, let's say somebody triggered us, right, and fear becomes triggered, right, and it starts to arouse, and from this fear, all of a sudden these thought formation starts to emerge, right, because we feel threatened, right, where we need to survive is what we were trained to do since beginning of time. We need to survive because that's the mind, that's a part of us that we've trained heavily, whether some of us trained ourselves, and I'm saying some of us and I'm pointing to myself, because whether some of us trained ourselves by watching, war movies and things, content on television, so visual content that teaches us how to, defend ourselves, so going the extreme route in that regards, or, whether it's becoming that self-righteous person and, you know, so deeply identified with our minds that we're unable to see that we've become disillusioned. We're unable to see the truth because we weren't taught that, oh my goodness, okay, let's remove how, let's say if we were to remove how we were taught to think, for example, or to be, how we were taught to be, how we were taught to show up, okay? If we were to remove that and we start to do what Eckhart Tolle refers to as becoming present with that trigger, so becoming present with that fear, I'm a firm believer, and I'm going to preach that everything is here to teach us something about ourselves. So if fear is showing up, it's here to show me the parts within me that needs attention. It's here to show me, hey, Francesca, because the universe doesn't speak English. It speaks energy, frequency, and vibration. So it's here to show me, hey, Francesca, you know, there's a part in the amygdala here that's becoming triggered. You know, it needs attention. It needs attention means healing, evolving, right? Those constructs. Otherwise, they will keep becoming triggered every time something triggers it, you know, like family members are great examples to practice on. Not that I use my family to practice on, but they are great, you know, family imprints, right? And so, you know, it will keep re-triggering if we do not heal those underlying wounds and shadows, because when we're showing up from a place of, you know, we need to survive, we want to defend ourselves, we're showing up from the shadow, which is what we were taught to do, right? From the shadow aspects of ourselves versus showing up from the higher conscious, you know, source, you know, from our connectivity, you know, to divinity. Because here is the thing, our nervous system is actually, which is, you know, intertwined in this, our nervous system is programmed to react instead of responding, right? So when we're practicing, you know, as practitioners, like we all are, right? When we're practicing and we've become fully present with the essence of our being, and we start to reteach ourselves or remember how to show up, and we're teaching ourselves, you know, with that comes the ability to discern, the ability to develop boundaries in areas we didn't even know we were supposed to have boundaries, right? We start to see things, you know, through more wholesome than through the dualistic mind view of having to pick sides or labeling. Because here's the thing with dualistic mind view, the duality, it results in labeling, right? It results in labeling, it results in judgments, right? It results in picking a side. There's nothing, I don't want to throw it all in the garbage, because I mean, understanding it in its greatest of depth through the lens of dependent origination is important for our own healing, for your own healing, like and evolving. So understanding these aspects, these imprints within ourselves, it's from its greatest of depth, so that you could actually get to the causation of why this is happening, why you're becoming triggered in the first place, is critical. It's key if we're truly going to heal and evolve, right?
Francesca, do you remember that story? I'm not sure if it was Eckhart, one of his books, but he was mentioning a father that had a son, and then they got some horse, so the horse just came to their place, and then the neighbor said, "Oh my God, you're so lucky you got that horse." And the guy said, "Maybe." And the next thing we know, the son got on the horse, fell off the horse, and broke his leg. And he said, "Oh my God, it's such a tragedy." And the guy said again, "Maybe it is, maybe it's not." But then there was an army that were getting all the young men to it, and he was not taken because he had a broken leg. So every event, you know, if we judge it too soon, it's bad or good, but then it shows that it actually has also the other side to it, you know, that can happen. Do you remember that story?
Yes, I remember briefly as you were sharing it, and then by the time you got to the army part, I'm like, yes, I remember that. So yes, of course, because of what we've created, or let me say, because of what we have become, you know, as a race, you know, human on this planet, and because of how we were taught to develop ourselves, you know, essentially what happened is we became lost, we became, you know, unbalanced, out of touch, right? We misinterpret the spiritual, you know, wisdom and teachings and so forth, and all sorts of things happen to get us to where we're at, which is, you know, we swing like the pendulum, right, from left to right, and unfortunately, because we've been essentially feeding the habits that contribute to keeping these dualistic mind views fed, these states of consciousness fed, it's become stronger. And so that's what happens in that example, you know, that you just mentioned, in terms of you know, everything. Because what happens when you're in a pain body, like say a ginormous pain body, and it's really important and really critical. I wrote about this deeply in my book in hopes that it would gift you know, the world something. So when you're inside of a pain body, and so when you're doing that self-examination process, okay, and you recognize, like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm in, you know, I'm in this dualistic mind view that's happening, right? This is coming up, duality, and now what's coming up is a lot of judgment towards somebody else, right? We have a choice, because now we wouldn't say we have to become present to heal, to truly heal and evolve from it. We need to become fully present with all of the interconnected and every single formation that will arise from that judgmental frame of mind, right? Which, you know, splits, right? Duality, right? Because, you know, from judgment comes anger. You know, there's anger that's rolled up in there, you know, judgment, there's like all sorts of things that's rolled up into that pain body, okay? And when we're inside of that pain body and we become fully present with it, and we understand the mind formation, the way it happens, as it's happening, and so forth, when we're in that pain body, there is a very fine space where, if we're not aware of it, it will split itself again into multiple formations, okay? So when we start to come into the understanding of what's happening within us from the deepest of level in relation to all of its interconnection, interpenetration, and interdependency, when we start to understand that in its deepest of depth, that very point that I'm sharing, which I don't have a name for it, where we get to choose, when we recognize it, we can choose to go, okay, I'm not going to feed that, because now I'm creating even more inner work for myself if I allow it to split, right? By going down that rabbit hole, and it will split, believe me, as many times as it needs to, into new formation, because what energetically, what's happening below the surface, what it's using is, it's like, you know, computer that's running these programs, you know, it has all of these programs that was pre-programmed, you know, for eons, for centuries, that's running there. And because this intelligence is so smart, whether we call it the dark or light, both, they're both just as brilliant equally, okay? It will use every single thing that's underlying in there to keep its formation alive, okay? Or to create new splits to pull us even further and further away from our divinity, from the truth, from the essence of who we truly are. So that's what essentially, when we're trapped in that dualistic mind view and we haven't pierced that veil, that's kind of what happens. And we'd be doing inner work for centuries upon centuries, and we could go in circles over and over again, and more and more splits gets created. So the key to no longer feeding those entities, is what I say, is pure awareness. Pure awareness is what we call it in Buddhism, right? Pure awareness is the awareness to recognize when this is happening, understanding what's happening, and breathe into it, become present with it, And the moment we become present with it, after a certain level in the journey, 9 out of 10 times, it will actually go away because you caught it. Or nothing will happen because it's technically that pain body is already dormant. And my God, I hope to God it doesn't go. I'm going to teach you a lesson because you're talking about all of this now. I'll show you. Because, you know, it does that too, right? So discernment is the key, one of the greatest key that I've learned through my own self-development, self-evolution, whatever we're calling it, in order to recognize. So, you know, recognize, oh my goodness, that's, you know, Charlotte's pain body trying to feed. Oh, that's my pain body trying to feed. It's trying to pick on hers, you know, or oh my goodness, yikes, I'm in my, you know, egoic state of mind, you know, and that's, I've become identified with my thought formation. And so that's what pure awareness, it equips us with the ability to recognize what's happening and then, you know, apply that wisdom of discernment so that we no longer fall trapped into feeding any formation of dualistic mind view, which actually reduces the splits in consciousness that we, you know, keep creating, that we habitually keep creating, that, well, that habitually keeps recreating itself because it's doing this. The intelligence, this is happening behind the scene, behind the, you know, below the surface. And unless you're in a state of pure awareness, you won't even be able to see it. You won't even catch it, right? You'll be in its magnetic loop of whatever, you know, based on your state of consciousness of what it's feeding on in that regards. So personally, on my path, I try not to feed, you know, consciously anyways. I try not to consciously. So in my awareness, and that's the whole point of the path for me now is maintaining that pure awareness, you know, and so doing my practices and you know, embodiment is huge. It's critical here because the more you embody, you know, so the wisdom, understanding that you come into, the more you start to embody it by applying it to your day-to-day life in relation to how. The how is huge in relation to how you show up, you know, whether you're showing up for your relationship or in your relationship with your children or in your relationships at work or in your relationship, you know, when you go out into the public, you know, into the barista, everything, it determines everything in that regard. So, you know, I say, you know, having a practice that, you know, maintains that, you know, is the practice itself. You know, we become the practice after a while on the path in that regard. So, you know, essentially that's kind of my 2 cents on, you know, discern, well, do the dualistic mind view and healing those, you know, because the key to true healing is to no longer feed the entity that would, you know, create another split really in consciousness or multiple splits, and it will split multiple times, many times if you allow it. I'm not saying that we have control. So let me humble myself here to the great, you know, wisdom. Not saying we have control. I'm not saying I have control over, you know, splits or any of that happening. I you know, essentially, it's more like, I guess, a discipline that I try to maintain as part of, you know, all the work I've done. I mean, there's no point throwing it out, you know, with the bathwater after this coming this far, right? So, yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on the dualistic mind view, you know, discernment and the role that it plays, you know, the splits in consciousness that has happened resulting in good, bad, you know, all of these other, and there's like, my God, billions and billions of splits, right? So here's the thing, when the Kundalini energy is rising, for example, it will rise smoothly the less clutter that's in the way. And the clutter is the pain body, because as it's rising, it goes into a pain body channel and it gets caught in that, you know, in that cyclical soup, you know, whatever is happening there, right? And all the splits, and it could stay there for centuries, and a person wouldn't even be aware because it's not even rising high enough to open up their third eye so that they can see and understand the depth of truth of what's really happening. So as a result of that, it's why the Buddha said everything is an illusion, because everything is an illusion. What we're seeing, well, how we were taught to see, and what we were thought to see as a result of what we've become, which is, when we look through the lens of dependent origination and cause, and what's happening there is completely different from the truth of what's happening. And it's why we misinterpret the language and we don't understand the language of the universe in relation to energy, frequency, and vibration. Because below the surface, through every single one of us, that's the language that the universe is actually speaking, right? Or communicating. It's communicating in frequencies and vibration. Oh, sorry. I have to let somebody into mine. Probably Amazon delivery.
No worries.
Yeah, so that's probably the shortest version without getting, way too deep. I wrote about this, and this is probably the part of my book that took the longest to write, because I wrote it, then I went through it over the years as I evolved, and I continued to heal and heal more. And I would go through it over and over again and expand on it to make sure, it paints a really clear picture of understanding in that regards, but through the applied lens, like in terms of understanding how we can take rebirth, for example, into the sixth realm, right? Rebirth, how we unconsciously would rebirth into the six realms and all of those things. So there's a lot that's packed in there that is, it gets really deep and complex. So it's things to parts to sit with, the kind of stuff to sit with and contemplate, because we all have this, the divine intelligence within us, and it is only through, that contemplative, which is meditative process, that we can come into the understanding of these depths, and which an understanding equips us with the ability from pure awareness to evolve, essentially, to see the truth, right? To discern, right? To know when we need to assert, in our boundary and things like that. So in a way, it's like this divine way. It teaches us this path, that teaches us how to navigate the world, or how to navigate this, whatever we call it. Yeah. It's quite fascinating, actually. I find it personally fascinating.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Francesca. Eternally grateful for
Onam, isn't that, sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Francesca. Eternally grateful for your feedback. I think discernment is nothing but what Dr. Joe calls metacognition and Eckhart calls awareness. So
yes, pure awareness, and that's the neocortex part of the brain.
exactly.
Yes, and being responsive instead of reactive, because
Yes.
reaction comes from the amygdala, which is the survival mind, right? And the nervous system. Right. Of course, when the charge builds up in the nervous system, it explodes, right? Like a car crash, right? So, and we react, and learning to, wield. It's all about wielding these energies within, recognizing it, but understanding it enough and what's happening with it in order to wield it, and help guide it in the right direction, because we are the ones that, that was gifted the ability to do that. We just weren't taught that's what we're supposed to do in that regards.
The one thing I would say, the one thing I would say, Francesca, I don't, like your picturization of the pain body splitting over and over again, I don't see that as an experience, that the pain body splits over and over again, right? So like if you listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you see the stories of transformation, right? Like
Yeah.
when the, I mean, he does not want to use a terminology that Kundalini is rising, correct? So
Yeah.
he just talks about that you're one with the divine. When you're in that
Yeah.
void, when you're in that unknown, you're one with the divine. When you're one with the divine, when this person has become one with the divine, right? That energy, when we are raising our energy to that level, where we are one with the divine, that will dissolve all these, whatever is called the pain body, it will dissolve the pain body.
In
It
the
cannot,
present moment of its arising, yes, absolutely 100%.
but
Yeah.
what you said was that the Kundalini, as it's rising, it's going to go merge with the pain body.
Because of, oh yeah, because of the short circuiting
No, that will not
of
happen.
the-
That will not happen. That will not happen, because Kundalini rising implies that you are in such a high state, high frequency of brain and heart coherence, right?
When it's risen, yes. But there's like the process of
No, when it's
as
rising,
rising.
yeah, when it's rising, right? You're in such brain and heart coherence. At that moment, no pain body can exist. And that is why during his retreats, a lot of the attendees are yelling, right? They go, because some of the pain body energy is releasing. I am positive, like the first out of the 7-day retreat, the first 2 or 3 days, whatever energy is releasing in people that are getting into alignment, what Eckhart calls alignment with their inner beingness, right? Like the more that they can feel this energy within them, that is releasing the pain body. I don't think the pain body splits. So that
No, the
observation.
pain. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to correct. Yeah, no, not the pain body split, the thought formations, because it's a thought that splits and create a gazillion thoughts, right? Sorry, the pain body is, the pain body, right? We have, different pain bodies, multiple.
So,
yeah.
So the pain body, I want everybody to understand, all the pain body is when we experience trauma, right? Let's get clear on what is the pain body.
Yes, the conditioning, yeah.
When we experience trauma during, like, it was like a majorly traumatic event, and during the traumatic event, like Dr. John Demartini gives the example of that there is this boy who's beaten by a baseball bat by his stepfather or something, right? So that is major trauma, right? And it's like a young boy, maybe 6, 7 years old. So such a young person being beaten, like as almost that they are an adult, we are not able to process the grief, the suffering at that moment. And when we are not able to process it, then it gets stored into our body. At the chemical level, Anthony William, medical medium, explains what that is. What that is at that moment, there is, because we are in this, now we are prey, right? So we want to get away, but we are not able to get away. We are being made to sit there and feel the predator prey on us, right? So much adrenaline is released in the body, and our body does not know. I mean, a little bit of adrenaline our body can process, but when so much of adrenaline is released, our body does not know how to process it, and that gets stored. And that is what Eckhart is referring to as
the pain body. Yes,
So
yes. And I can relate to that deeply because I was beaten like that as a child.
And all we
It was
all
one
we
of
need to
mine.
do, all we need to do is if he were to do a physical cleanse, we would release the pain body. If you were to do Anthony Williams's 369 cleanse, right? And that's why Patricia and I are so adamant about try doing the celery juice, do the 369 cleanse, because that will cleanse your adrenaline. All the toxic adrenaline stored in your body will get cleansed.
Well, I've
All
been,
your-
you know, grateful, yeah, to heal mine, but yeah, it was my old pain body for, yeah, and I healed mine through the, you know, my own,
Right,
inner work.
right.
And
So
by understanding it, you know, and giving it love, you know, healing that inner child, right? Letting her know, showing her where I'm at, letting her know she's safe, you know, we've healed, we've evolved, and merging the two, right? Like bringing her back, right? And so forth, doing that process.
right,
Which, yeah.
I just want people to understand that, like in the terminology, not to get confused, right?
Yeah,
That then they are scared of, oh, I don't even want to go towards any kind of meditative process, or I don't want to get into any of the stillness process because my pain body will get split into. I don't want people to be fearful of that.
No,
I just
no,
want to
no.
clarify.
No,
I
the
just want to
meditation,
clarify.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
no,
want to clarify.
meditation. Thank you for clarifying, because yeah, meditation doesn't split anything. It equips us with the ability. It's like sitting on top above ourselves and watching ourselves. Really, that's what meditation does. It equips us with the
Yes.
ability to truly see ourselves deep enough so that we can understand what's happening. We can
Right.
understand, you know, why we've become trigger. We can understand the parts within, the language that the part within is trying to show us, which is, hey, Francesca, wake up, you know, wake up. We need this, needs your
Yeah.
attention. There's something here that you're carrying, an imprint that needs healing and evolving, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Grateful. Patricia, you were going to ask a question? Sorry.
No, that's fine. That needed to be said. That was very interesting. What was coming up for me is that on one hand, it's during Dr. Joe's meditation, center of the magnet, when he talks about the center, the heart being where the opposites are getting together, and that elevation of that, where the emergence of
Merging of polarities.
polarities,
Yeah, the
right?
wholesome. Mhm.
Talking about that's very powerful. And also, what another thing is like, if there is any statement or anything a judgment, opposite is also true. So very interestingly enough, when I in the past listened to people say, I noticed that when they're being asked a question, like the true spirituality, they never just answer one way. It's always like the answer is kind of, it's true, but it's not true. Like there is variation of, it's not very easy, like yes or no questions. It's in everything, you have sides, you have ways to look at it. And only certain things like oneness and unity, there's no other stuff, but it's hard to describe if you're just very strict within one label. Like you can just answer those deep questions with just, saying yes or no. It's just so many things. So maybe, maybe, or you're partially correct. There's that side of it that might not fit. So
Right. Because at any given time, you are going to, whatever you state is based on your experience of that moment. And is that what the sum totality of experience is?
So you got to open
Right.
yourself.
It may not actually be, just like both Eckhart and Dr. Joe say, we are multidimensional beings. So when we get into the multidimensionality, what are the experience in the other dimensions?
But you
Right?
can't answer in those duality terms.
Right. So Dr. Joe Dispenza just posted a story of transformation of this woman who had, I think she lost her husband in 2020, and she had all kinds of issues. I don't know, gut issues, vertigo. She was fainting all the time or something of that sort. And she went to a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat, and as a healee, she was lying down, and she said when the healers walked in, all she saw was a lot of light beings walking in with the dimensionality that we don't see all these light beings around us. Right? And so many people, when they talk about healing, like these spontaneous healings with Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreat, right? They say, oh, I saw this tall blue being, really tall blue being. Like, you know, they say they're from, like the tall blue beings are, Matthias de Stefano says, they're from the Palladian constellation, right? And they're blue. They're blue because they're so white that the skin does not have pigmentation. So you know how our blood looks blue through the vein. Like if we have like blood flowing and the vein is popping out, don't we see blue? He says that's
Could you
because
please stop talking.
Are you saying something to us, Wyatt?
Oh, no, pardon me. Please continue. Later, I'd like to share some successes, but I want to hear from you. I'm sorry.
No worries. So where are I mean, those blue beings are here with us, right? Are we experiencing those blue beings at this moment?
Hey, Poonam, why certain people are experiencing and others don't? Like, how would they determine who to heal? You have to be like so completely open and ready.
Exactly. Your heart, they were like, watch the testimonial, and I'll give you all, I'll post it on wherever we are doing this Facebook, and I'll post the testimonial. I posted it already in our
I didn't see it yet.
on our Facebook page and on my page. It's the very latest testimonial that Dr. Joe published, right? And this testimonial is somebody coming up, like in one of the retreats, they come up on stage and then they talk about their mystical experience. And what she said is she saw this person, like this light being came and put his finger in her ear and like pushed in her ear, and out of that, like she had a deviated septum, and whatever was with the deviated septum just got healed. Like she's completely healed out of that whole experience. Then they did something, like they normally say that, like some people say, like if they have problems in the leg, right, that they almost see these blue beings lifting them up and like up and down, shaking them up, right? And out
But
of the shaking, like
that's-
without any surgery, without any instrument, right? It almost is like very Star Trek-y. I don't know if you'll watch Star Trek. You know how they just take something and like brush some metallic thing across and that person heals, right? The doctor just goes and brushes this metallic thing and that person, whatever thing gets repaired. It's almost like that, right?
But Dr. Joe
think there's-
Dispenza talks about the fact that each one of us has that our body has this intelligence that it can do miracle things, like fix itself. So why do we need an intervention from the outside? Like, why do we need the blue being to heal us if we have that? We have that energy inside of us.
Patricia's question. Yeah, the depth of that, yes.
The reason we need
Yes.
the blue being is probably we don't have the whole technology to. They have the technology to heal us without instruments, without surgery. They may be multi-dimensional, like entities from another side that are coming in. They're interested in healing human beings, making human beings whole, right? This is the experiment where we are supposed to. Earth School experiment is how much can be experience unconditional love, right? How much can be experienced love, right? So there, at that moment, whatever was created for that person, that mystical experience, that is the mystical experience that was created for that person,
So what
right?
do you say that we are here to give and receive love? So giving, it's all these people that go there and actually through selfless giving are healing others. But in the same time, you have people that are so receptive and they're allowing themselves to be worthy to receive. So
Right.
those two different experiences.
So beautiful, right? So beautiful. Francesca, you want to hear what did you want to share? Sorry. It's
Yeah.
getting late, but go ahead and share. And Patricia, you can drop if it's getting late, 9 o'clock for you, right? So thank you, grateful. Beautiful conversation. Wyatt, you want to share
Okay.
what you want to share? Go ahead.
Um,
Let's hear your wins.
well, I don't know how to get the picture to work here. Do I hit start video? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. My office away from my office, it's called an automobile. So I want to share some successes, but first what makes this a great call for me is that although I'm seeing through the eyes of each of you, when you talk about a world of non-duality, the only question I have before sharing these great successes is what Patricia said. It occurred to me that in a world of duality where everything exists in contradiction to itself, as Hegel wrote, all of that's an illusion. There's nobody out there. And the successes I want to share is that I'll start with the biggest one first. So several times over the last many days, when I picture the pain body as this dark cloud that hides in the shadows and is afraid of the light. And when things began to come up for me, trauma from the past, and I saw who was involved, which role model, older sister, etc., etc. I said to myself, given this person, like say it's mom, given her level of consciousness, she was doing the best that she could. And the tension within me like a spring, began to unwind the tension, and then it all disappeared. And whenever I invoke those, saying that, no matter who it's about, I'm realizing, and I put the comment a while ago, that that's what the peace is apparently what forgiveness is all about. And my willingness to acknowledge where someone was at in their level of consciousness cleanses me and heals me of the trauma that had come up. And then, and I'm thinking, not thinking, it's occurring to me that it's not about, in other words, I'm reframing it. So today, I did that with me, even though I'm experiencing what I show up to acknowledge is healing. And the other successes are, so I wrote a very short email to Ron, who I was building this company. I asked him to join me. And I just severed everything. And what I wrote was the expansion of my consciousness is why I'm no longer going to be working on this project with you. And then, because I offered most of my material, and and I asked him to download it several months ago. I wrote that keep everything you downloaded, delete all my passwords, and then I signed it all the best, Wyatt. And when I sent that out, within 15 to 20 minutes, I had another success with a young woman that I had been coaching off and on for a year and a half to be generous, for the joy of it. I even had referred her to Ron because he's also a coach. And he worked with her for several months. And when I bumped into her again yesterday, she waved. I acknowledged her because I had pulled over to use the phone. And I just put it back in drive, the car, and drove a few more blocks. And what I realized in saying that is that these people who've been sent to me through being similar to me, especially the shadow side that Jung speaks of, that these are examples of how I heal within me what I was escaping from which is why these people, through the law of attraction, came into my sphere. And I and the world of non-duality, as Eckhart Tolle speaks of, where the moment I recognize, the moment I acknowledge what's going on, is the first moment of stepping back from the tree I was obsessed with in whatever thoughts and emotions and identity were those it represented. And that objectivity, which Patricia spoke of earlier, is what allows me to see all the different kinds of trees in the forest. And I have more options available. And so those are the successes. I'm experiencing the now in the last few moments emotion, and that's part of the cleansing. And thank you for allowing me, because I'm just very grateful to be on this call each week, and I'm not. Well, I'll stop there because you know, it's wonderful to know. I'm complete. Thank you so much. Bless you.
It was you,
Oh.
like, from the beginning, the time that you spoke, there was like so much shift in your consciousness. Why, like, we could see the glow and the radiance in going through you. Like, you're radiant, you're
Thank you.
glowing, you're
Thank you.
glowing.
Thank you. And I remembered something. Is it all right to mention it? Okay. So one of the things that happened a couple of days ago with my older sister, and I blew my stack. This time, I was watching it all happen. There was that dark, shrouded ego. It's as though it's in one side of the room, I'm in the other, and I'm watching it all happen. And at first I thought that what the ego was expressing from my conditioned mind was running the show, and I was powerless to do anything. And actually now I see that's not it at all. What it really is deeper levels of trauma, and to be able to watch it means I'm very close to being willing to acknowledge it for what it is, and then what's kept me repeating history from long ago right here as well in 2025 the other night, that being able to watch it is an integral part of this transformative process that I'm experiencing. So it's all good. And thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful. Eternally grateful.
Wow.
So observation that you made about your mom, right? You used the example of a mother. So I recently posted this, what Eckhart said in Stillness Speaks. He says, if her past were your past, her pain, your pain, her level of consciousness, your level of consciousness, you would think and act exactly as she does. With this realization comes forgiveness, compassion, peace. And
Yes.
that is the exact thing that you did. Was you
Yes.
realize her past is exactly, what if her past was my past? Right? Like, let's say, take your mother. Maybe
Yeah.
your mother went through trauma. Maybe she was molested. Maybe she was raped. You don't know what she has gone through in her life.
Right.
So her pain body inflicted some pain on you,
Yeah.
pain and trauma on you. So with that compassion, with that empathy and compassion within yourself, like whatever she was tortured is the torture that she inflicted upon you. With that empathy and compassion comes forgiveness and peace. Just like what Eckhart
Yes.
said in Stillness Speaks, right?
Yes. Yes. So when you said that, what I'm picturing is that I'm contributing to her evolution.
Correct.
Yes.
In the forgiveness, the moment you forgive your mother, you have set that spirit free.
Yeah.
Say again, I've what, please?
In the forgiveness of your mother,
Yes, ma'am.
you set that spirit free.
Mm.
It's like what Dr. Joe calls quantum entanglement. In your cutting off your relationship with Ron, you cut
Mhm.
off that quantum entanglement that was going on between you and Ron. In
Mm.
the forgiveness with your mother, you cut off that quantum entanglement. You were entangled. You were two
Yes.
particles. Like in quantum mechanics, they have this experiment where they took two positrons, they split them apart, and whatever happened to this positron happened to this, even though they were apart.
Cause and effect.
Not so much as cause and effect. That's how quantum entanglement works. And
Okay.
with
So in
that experiment,
Buddhism, yeah,
Run that,
sorry. In
please.
Buddhism, we call it interconnection and interpenetration and interdependency because the charge, one charge is, dependent on the other charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
so
is that, I need to ask you something, Poonam, because this is really great
mhm.
stuff. More than stuff, it's the way things are designed. So does that mean, based on what was just said, is that occurring in quantum, which is what Jesus refers to as the kingdom of heaven, meaning it's not the conditioned mind any longer. This is how the spiritual realm of absolute power of consciousness is designed to be. So
Yeah.
everything, so it's not cause and effect. Oh my gosh. Okay, continue. Wow, this is huge freedom. Please continue, Poonam, with what you were saying, because I
So
know this is going to crescendo big time here.
so apply that to your sister as well. If you had unconscious parents that were causing you trauma, how much did those unconscious parents create trauma for your elder sister? Right?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
So she is going to, and if she's not going through any kind of spiritual transformation, she is going to act out the same programs as your parents.
Yes.
So you will see some of your mother and father in your elder sister.
Yes.
And the quantum entanglement is the more you forgive your father and mother,
Yes.
you cut off the relationship, the quantum entanglement with your elder sister. because you will have forgiveness for her,
Yes.
right? The more she acts the programs, right?
Yep.
Like Eckhart says, we act like biological automatons. She may be acting as a biological automaton, running the program of your parents,
Yep.
right? The more you come from a place of objectivity, the word that objectively, without any polarization, without any positive or negative, just be an observer of her behavior.
Yes.
Just observe and observe and observe and observe. No saying anything, no acting, no reacting. The more
Yes.
you just observe, she will dissolve, like that behavior. And for that matter, it may be that she'd be out of your life as well, right? Because once that quantum entanglement breaks, that person may be taken out of your life as well.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
So
That, oh, wow. I'm so glad you continue to explain that to me, because, yeah, this is wonderful.
okay, on that high note, it is getting late and I need to go to bed because it's 8:30
Okay.
at night for me. And I know it's just 6:30 for you all who live in the Pacific time zone, but it's
Yes.
getting
Yes.
to be 9:30 for Patricia. So beautiful conversation, and I love the transformation that Wyatt was like mind-blowing. It was
Yeah,
mind-blowing.
I'm enjoying his everything.
So humbling.
I am laughing.
So humbling.
Wow.
Look at the smile on your face, Wyatt. I mean, it's so humbling. I am like, right, Francesca? It's
Yeah,
like
oh
deep
my God,
buzz,
yes.
deep
I'm,
buzz.
Thank
I'm
you.
laughing. Just, yeah, I'm so joyful about to be able to witness what's happening with him. And it's like, wow.
Beautiful. Thank you for choosing your divinity over your humanity, everyone. Many blessings, much love. There is no
Thank you.
group meditation this week because I have to work on Friday. If I don't have to work the following Friday, we will meet for group meditation, okay? And we will
Wonderful.
meet for Facebook Live in 2 weeks again. And many blessings, much love. Bye. Good night.